Sam over here, and I want to share with you guys the 7 step guide to escaping your 9 to 5. So, if you work a 9 to 5 job and you're just tired of those Sunday scaries, you're tired of not knowing if you're confident enough to be able to make the leap when it is time for you, or how to do that, I'm going to actually walk you through that journey so that you can live financially free. I am all about financial freedom. And so my name's Joe Moffitt with Master Life by Design. And my whole reason um, for creating our company was I got tired of working my 9 to 5 job. I was tired of just go every day, Monday through Friday, going to a job that I didn't like with people that I didn't like for an amount of time that I didn't like. And I just found myself every Sunday hating Monday mornings, and I couldn't wait till Friday got there so I could just go do what I wanted. Whereas when it comes to financial freedom and when you achieve financial freedom, the cool thing is you're living 6 Saturdays and a Sunday. So I don't know about you. I don't know who would not want to live 6 Saturdays and a Sunday, do what you want, when you want, how you want, for the most part within reason. I'm not telling you you're going to be rich beyond means. What I'm about to give you is not a formula or something where you get rich overnight. There's no get rich quick schemes. That's not what I'm about. I'm tested and tried and true practices that allow you to become financially free and escape the rat race of life. So we're going to jump in, and I'm going to share a little bit about me. I had a background in the Marine Corps, did that for 5 years right out of high school, traveled the world, went to Iraq, got out, went to school, was getting involved in network marketing, Amway, started learning that the more people that I help, the more that they're going to, the more success that they got, the more success I got. And I just fell in love with helping people, got involved in personal development. And then I went professional coaching, got hired as a Tony Robbins coach, worked there for 7, 8 years, got my master's degree in performance psychology, worked with some incredible people, business owners. And then fast forward, my wife and I, we started out our company, Master Life by Design, to really consciously create the life that you want. And so right now, what I'm going to do is and we live that life now. My kids are 7 and 5. They've never known mom and dad to go to an office. So if that's you, nothing wrong with that. But if you know you want more out of life, then I would listen up to these 7 steps on how to start that. Okay, because it's big. It's actually huge. My wife and I, we live a life where we get to go do what we want. We can wake up without an alarm. We get to, have friends over till whatever time in the middle of the night, like whatever. We have the freedom to do that. We're not making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, but we are actually living a life that we once dreamed of. And I know you have a dream of what you want your life to look like. You just haven't had the opportunity, or you didn't have the knowledge. So it's not your fault. People in school don't teach you this. And so I want you to know that what I'm about to share with you is a little bit different way of thinking. You have to shift the way that you think. If you don't shift the way you think, then you're just going to think like an employee. And the worst thing you can do is think like an employee. And I'm not saying that employees are bad, because they're necessary. I'm just saying, if you know you want more out of life, you want financial freedom, you want to own your own time and be your own boss, you can't think like an employee. So let's jump in to the 7 steps to escaping your 9 to 5. They worked for me. My wife and I, we have freedom, and all my definition of financial freedom is this: you have one more dollar in passive income than you do in active income. And that's the game. You change that, you will change your life. Passive income is the name of the game. So if you don't have passive income, you better listen up, because we need to get you started in passive income. We'll talk more on that and how you can do that. So let's jump in. So the first thing you need to do is you need to discover your financial freedom number. If you do not know your financial freedom number, you will always be fishing and wondering and floating. You have to know what it is. Now, I teach this thing called the 4S pyramid, where you literally identify your 4 stages of income. So the first one is survival. This is where your basic needs are met. Okay, where you're like, if you had to pay for your rent or your mortgage, food, utilities, and cell phone and internet, and car, right? Like, that's it. That is your basic necessities. So what is that number? For some of us, if you're single, it might be like I don't know, 2 grand a month. For those of you that are married with multiple kids, it might be 7 grand a month. You have to get clear on what your numbers are. So I always encourage people to take time and really write down what is their number. Go look through your bills. How much are you paying in rent and mortgage, right? I'll talk to you about, so here are some things: rent, mortgage, utilities, groceries, health insurance, auto payment, auto insurance, fuel, phone bill, internet, basic household needs like toiletries, things like that. If you have debt, your minimum debt payments, and if you tithe or give to charity, what is that? Those are some of the basics when it comes to your survival number. You want to know what that is. You have to know what you measure is gets managed. And if you don't measure it, then you can't manage it. And so the biggest thing you need to do is know that number. That's the first step. The second step is stabilization. And so what I look at stabilization is your lifestyle, where your bills are covered, you have money to go out and do extra things like go to the movies, take trips here and there. Now you're not going and staying at the Four Seasons in Maui, but you're able to, go camping, you're able to go rent a cabin in the mountains or whatnot. So you got to know what that is. It's your entire survival number, plus like things like clothes if you buy them. Well, obviously we all buy clothes, but if you're buying clothes on a regular basis, restaurants, any gifts for friends or kids that you're going to birthday parties, gym memberships, supplements, travel, personal development, coaches, um, dinner with friends, Audible, Spotify. So things like that, you got to know what that number is for your stabilization number. So, because here's why. The first thing is identifying your financial freedom number, which is your survival number. And then what is your stabilization number? That's the next one. So I remember my survival number was $2,000 a month. I needed to make 2 grand a month to live. I was single, living in San Diego with 5 other people, and I knew that that was my number. From there, stabilization was about 5 grand a month. And I remember for me, I don't know about for you guys, but 5 grand a month for me back in the day, I was like 23 to 28, was like a lot of money. Like for me, it was a lot of money. Now, if I had to live off of $5,000 a month, I don't know how I'd survive. So if that's you, just make sure that you are developing skills that'll make you more valuable to the marketplace so you can get more money to invest. So the first step in leaving and escaping your 9 to 5 is knowing your financial freedom number. Go back, look, and do that. Number 2, you have to know your strengths and skills. So you need to know, what are you good at? Where are you most valuable? Like for a lot of people, they're really good at marketing. Some are really good at sales. And whatever you're good at is great, but that's where you want to focus and saying, okay, well, here's where I can become more valuable to the marketplace. The biggest key is, how do you get more active income in the moment? So if you're working a 9 to 5, you got to find out what skill are you actually really good at, so that you can start building something on the side that you can get very proficient in, and you can charge more for your services because you're more valuable. And the biggest thing is, if you can solve someone's problem quickly and in a timely manner, and in a way, and I'm looking at both cameras here, in a way that they feel valued, you're going to be able to charge way more for that. And the bigger the problem, the more they'll pay. Okay. So my invitation to you is solve rich people's problems, not poor people's problems. Okay. So once you know your strengths, you want to start investing in that. Like if you're good at sales, invest in your sales skills. If you're good at marketing, invest in marketing. You have to build these skill sets to make you more valuable, because your 9 to 5 doesn't care about you. They care about the company making money, not you. All right. So we're teaching you how to leave your 9 to 5 and do that. Number 3 is eliminate debt that's killing your momentum. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients, they want to become financially free, and all of a sudden they have all their extra income goes to debt. And I know, because I was in $40,000 credit card debt for the 3rd time. So I like to think I'm an overachiever. I don't do things once or twice. I got to do them 3 times, right? And so I learned that, because once you find out, okay, I have this debt, you have a couple different methods that you can approach: the snowball method, the avalanche method. But the biggest thing you want to do is, I personally like to say, what's my highest interest? Let me knock that down first. So you want to develop those skills to work on building more money outside of your job, and then start paying off your debt. right? Once you know your financial freedom number, you want to be free, but not having to pay debt. So knock that out of the way. We want to work on eliminating the debt. So if that takes 2 weeks, awesome. If it takes 2 months, awesome. If it takes 2 years, awesome. We want to start getting that ball rolling so you don't have debt sucking out the cash flow or the income that you have coming in that's going to allow you to become financially free. This is all basic stuff. Now, step 4 in this process, this is where things get more interesting, is you now say, okay, I have my numbers, I'm debt free, I have these valuable skills, and I'm making money, but you gotta pick your asset lane, okay? You have to pick your asset lane. What does that look like? You might be looking at real estate, right? And there's so many different avenues that you can pick in real estate. There's a million different ways to make $1 million in real estate. You can pick businesses where you're either building, or I like to say buy a business. Buy a business that has systems and team already established. Yes, you're going to pay more, but you're not going to go through all the headaches of building a business from scratch, to stress, to late nights. You wear multiple hats in the process. I'm telling you, what happens there is it gets stressful. Don't get me wrong, I started mine from scratch, but it's much easier by acquiring a business. And then the third one I would look at is, like, for me, I'm a big fan of, and where we're at right now is digital, a digital business where you can do online education, affiliate marketing, or automation. Like, there's so much money to be made online, but you got to pick where are you planting your flag. I personally like real estate and business, and clearly I'm doing some online stuff, but don't jump lanes. You have to pick your lane with the lifestyle you want, right? Like for me and my wife, since we've been together, I've never been tied to a corporate job. I've never been tied down where I had to go to a job. I've had those in the past after I got out of the Marine Corps. But for me, and why we created our company, Master Life by Design, is we wanted to have the freedom to go anywhere we wanted and earn money. And so business allows you to do that. Digital products allow you to do that, but also real estate does. So I like to create things that fit and align with my lifestyle. You have to find out what aligns with your lifestyle. Okay, so pick your lane. Number 4 is pick your lane and stay in it for the next 12 months. I'm telling you this now. You will always hit a point in this process where you're thinking it doesn't work. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Will it ever work for me? These are all things that I personally went through, and my clients who are now financially free. They're all living this great life. In fact, one of my clients is in Costa Rica. He's 28. He's financially free. He moved to Costa Rica with his dog, met a girl there, and he surfs every day. Like, he loves it. And he's looking to buy real estate out there and start building his portfolio out in Costa Rica. So if you're interested, I can point you to his Instagram page to watch him to do those things. So really cool lifestyle. Doesn't have kids, but needless to say, you don't need, even if you had kids, you can do it. So pick that for the next 12 months. Those are the mindsets that I come across with clients all the time. And you got to stick it out through the tough times, right? It's just like marriage. Marriage isn't always easy. I always say there's an 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time, it's great. 20% of the time, there's a suck factor to it, right? The suck is in there. And so I don't care what you're doing, there's always an 80-20, even working out, right? Eating healthy, all these big things that my wife and I and our family are big on, and the values we have. So pick your asset lane. I'm big on real estate. Now, we trimmed down within that, but I picked real estate as part of it, and business. So number 5, this is, you build your first $1,000 of income. That you want to create a stream of $1,000 a month. Why? Because it's going to create proof of concept for you. It's real cash. It's not just theory, right? A lot of times they hear this stuff. Oh, people are making good money. They could do this. I could do this, I think. And when they finally achieve it, then it becomes real to them. They start building momentum, because $1,000 a month is an extra 12 grand a year. $1,000 a month is an extra car payment. $1,000 a month is half a grocery bill for a family, right? And so we want to make sure that, let me just see. I got some things here. We want to make sure that you're starting to get that. So, you don't need a business plan. You actually need results. So go get your $1,000. So for me, real estate was it. We went and got an Airbnb property for our family. All right, my wife and I and our business partners who are friends of ours, their family, they have kids around our kids' age. The cool part was we bought an Airbnb in the mountains. We would go up there when it was snowing, go snowboarding, sit in the spa as the snow's dropping, and just having a good time under the stars. When we weren't there, we started to Airbnb that out. And when we made our first $1,000, for me, the belief was like, oh my goodness, like we can actually make money with this thing. Like this is real. Real estate income is real. And so all that did was magnify my desire for that to be magnified, to increase more. Because I was like, man, if I can make $1,000 a month, could I make 2,000 a month? If I can make 2,000, could I make four? If I make four, could I go and hit eight? Could I hit 10 grand a month? And so that's what I'm here to do, is help you learn how to create 10 grand a month in passive income. And it all starts by these simple steps, getting clarity so that you can leave your 9-to-5 job. So that's number 5 is get your first $1,000. Now, am I speaking high level? Absolutely. I will tell you kind of what my wife and I've done that has one property bringing in $6,500 a month here in a moment. But I want to run through these 7 steps. So number 5 was build your first $1,000 income stream. Number 6, this is probably by far the most important one for me. Okay, the most important one for me, and that is join a community that keeps you accountable. Now, I am starting a mastermind, Master Life by Design mastermind community, Families for Financial Freedom. So if you're interested, shoot me a comment. You can either email me, joe@masterlifebydesign.com. You can email me or hit me up on Instagram @JoeMoffitt, TikTok @JoeMoffitt. You can leave me a comment on YouTube, whatever it is. I will send you our landing page. It's MLBDmastermind.com. You can go out and fill the application. But the accountability within a community is absolutely important. Most of the time we isolate, we try to do things on our own. We try to just figure it out. And what you're doing is you are wasting time. You only have so much time in this life, right? And then once, I will say this, it's better snowboarding when you're in your 30s than it is in your 70s. I promise you. People are trying to say they retire at 65. That's BS. Most people aren't retiring at 65. They're actually working till the day they die. My dad just passed in December. He was 59 years old, dealt with cancer, stage 4 prostate cancer, and he literally worked to a month or 2 before he passed away. And I will tell you, it sucked. And I always tell people, you're going to, at some point in your life, someone that you love or care about is going to either need your time or your money or both. And are you in a position to do that? Right? And we think we have all this time, but really we don't. And I remember I got a call, and on a Thursday morning, we were on a plane back east to say goodbye, our final goodbye. It cost us $5,000 to jump on a flight for the next day. Had to pay for his funeral, had to go back a week after his passing, the day after Christmas, to set up his funeral, clear out the house. He didn't have assets. He was a renter and he didn't own it. And I wish he would have learned from me, but we're all in different paths. But do you have the time and the money to do something like say goodbye to a loved one? So a community, what that does is it allows you to tap into the mastermind effect, where more minds than one, when they come together, start to see different angles and approaches and seeing where you're stuck. And then they hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do. And so I remember I'm in multiple masterminds. I paid $10,000 a year for one. I paid $15,000 for 4 meetings with a very big influencer. And then I coach in a lot of masterminds. And by far, the accountability within that community has helped me achieve things that I probably wouldn't have achieved, or I would have got close to the finish line and then backed out last second. If none of you have ever bought a real estate property and had to put money down, tens of thousands, if not $100,000 or more, when you get to that finish line, you start to get a little scared, right? Like, and I do the peak performance coaching, right? I have my master's degree in performance psychology. Not that that matters anything, but I've walked people down the path, and I've coached thousands upon thousands of people. I've done almost what is it, 40,000 coaching calls one-on-one. I've learned what works and what doesn't work for people. So having the accountability with a one-on-one coach like myself or someone on one of my coaches on my team, or within the community like the mastermind we're creating, is so important, because you raise to the level of your peer group, right? And so you might have heard that old saying that you're the average of your 5 friends. And I promise you, if you look at their income, you're probably at that middle level of all 5 of them. So get into a community. That's step 6, is join a community of people that are like that. And then step 7, execute your lane like a pro. See, financial freedom requires you to have a runway before you leave your job, not a leap of faith. There's been studies that have been done that said that if you build a side hustle while doing your 9 to 5, and you're working from 5 to 9 building a side hustle, you are more likely to succeed doing it that way than jumping cold turkey and just jumping, saying, hey, I quit, I'm done, I'm going all in my business. I've seen it. I've seen people do it. They do it not because they're going to kick butt in business. They do it because of the significance. They're sitting there like, oh, I want to just say, hey, I quit my job. I'm the guy who's all about financial freedom, telling people not to quit your job, right? Let that sink in. And so why? Because I know what it's like when you leave having debt. I know what it's like when you leave and have no income. You start to feel that pressure, and you start making decisions out of pain instead of thinking through and what's logical and what you need to do. So don't quit. Right? Do not quit. You have a lower chance of succeeding, but build a 90-day plan that includes your savings, right? Like how many months of your expenses are you going to have in the bank? You have to know that. 2 to 12 months. I'm more of a security driven person than an uncertainty driven person. So I'm probably going to need like 10 to 12 months before of my monthly expenses. So if my expenses are 5 grand a month, I want 60 grand in the bank. Right. And that's why it's so important to have these skills on the side of your 9 to 5, that you could start to stack your cash. So when you do leave, you have that runway and you've paid down your debt. Right. So anywhere from 2 to 12 months of that, you want to secure your first $1,000 a month in side income. Why? Because it's proof of concept. You want to make sure that those people, that it's coming in. And then from there, set up a legal entity and a separate bank account for that, so that you can keep it set. But my biggest thing around this, and that I love, and I I actually should have it. I don't know if I have it posted or not somewhere around here. Was set a freedom date. Got to set a freedom date. Reverse engineer those milestones, and then lastly, create your resignation letter. That is the thing. I have it looking at the notes here. It'll inspire you to follow through, to become financially free, to say, hey, I'm going to leave my job. But there's all these 7 steps you need to do in sequence in order to start creating financial freedom. Now, I have a guide, a 7-step guide that I'm going off of, that if you want it, all you have to do is type the word escape and I will send it to you. 7 steps on how to escape your 9 to 5, the most important thing. And so for those of you that have been watching, I told you that I would share with you how me and my wife, just one asset brings us in over $60,000 to $70,000 a year. One asset. And so I'll share, we took a 5-bedroom house and 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. And what we did was we turned it into an 8-bedroom, 3-bath house. We added a bathroom, and then we added in the basement that had a big open concept. We created 2 rooms down there and a hallway. And then from there, we took the living room and we made that a bedroom. And so we added 3 bedrooms to the house. So what does that do? That adds to us adding cash flow to our monthly cash flow number, our financial freedom number. And so what we did was, on average, the rooms were on average $800 a room. So 800 times 8 rooms is $6,400. We charge a little for, storage and things like that. But if we're making $6,500 a month times 12, let's just say it's $6,000 a month times 12, that's $72,000 a year. Now you got to account for vacancies. You got to account for some maintenance. We manage the property ourselves, but that one property brings in $60,000 a year, and then we got to take that service. But it's like one property. And at the end of the day, we've had cash flow where $3,500 a month comes into our pocket where we can spend in any way, shape, or form. How many of you could use an extra thousand or $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month? How many properties at $2,000 a month cash flow do you actually need in order to become financially free? For some of us, that's 3 properties, 6 grand a month, and you could be financially free. And the great thing about real estate is over time, it appraises for more. We have appreciation, right? You have every year on taxes, you have depreciation. So you get to write things off and lower your income or tax bill, should I say, because of that. You can drop tax brackets. And then there's you're building equity. You could use equity in there, and I could go on and on around all of the tricks to the trade in real estate. You can get a home equity line of credit to be able to go out and get another property. You can increase the value by rehabbing it like we did. We rehabbed the entire property, made it brand new, increased it by $150,000 just by rehabbing it. So we put, I think, 70 grand in, and it was worth $150,000 more. So you have the ability to actually force more value than what you pay for it. And so there's so many strategies, and that's what we're going to teach in our mastermind community, Families for Financial Freedom. We're going to teach people how to create financial freedom through real estate, through business, because those are the two main things. You can build business or you can buy business. I recommend buying business, right? But that's what we're going to be teaching people. Now, some of you, you're like, man, I want help. I like working one-on-one with someone. Well, if you want help from me, feel free to reach out and you can fill out our coaching application. Just write the word coach. And what I'll do is I'll send you the application. You fill that out. I'll get it. And we'll reach out to you and see if we're a good fit for me, or you can work with one of our coaches through the steps in that, or you could join the mastermind. But I'm telling you, there's nothing like being able to wake up whenever you want, to being able to hop on a plane and take your family out to Maui every single year just to escape the cold. We live in Idaho, right? And so Idaho in the winter gets kind of cold. We love it. Greatest place on earth. I mean, no, guys, don't come here. It's miserable. It sucks. You wouldn't like it. But it gets cold in the winter. And after the holidays, after, New Year's, you're kind of like over the cold and you need a reset till March, comes around. So we go to Maui every year. Why? Because we have passive income that comes in. So that's real estate. We also have business passive income where we have people who reach out to us all the time. They work with us or they work with our coaches, should I say, and we get passive income that way through business. Our coaches coach our clients, and the clients are getting phenomenal results. They're walking down the path to becoming financially free, mentally and emotionally free, and so they're getting results. Our coaches are getting paid, creating a great lifestyle for them. We're creating passive income, creating a great lifestyle for us, and it's just a business where we all win. And for me, that's what I want. I want to be able to make sure we all win together. And again, if you've ever gone on a trip that you've never been before, or you wanted to go somewhere, and you finally walk in through that where you get dropped off, and the valet's right there, and then you walk through the sliding doors, and you just see the grand the room, right? Like how elegant it is, and the desk where you check in, and it's everything you pictured and more. I'm telling you, that freedom is unbelievable feeling. I remember the last day I ever worked a corporate job. It was General Atomics. It was the last day. I even have a YouTube video I can share where I was sitting behind. They had a fence that I was sitting at, and I recorded the video, and I was sitting there saying how they keep us in here like a jail. That's what a 9 to 5 can be. Now, can it help support your family? Yes. But if you knew you were created for more, financial freedom's your path, not working a job that you hate where you get Sunday scaries, you're not confident enough to leave. Like, that's what I help people do because I've done it, and I've helped clients do it all the time, right? My client in Costa Rica is 28 and financially free. He's living his best life. So, but I remember that last day was a Thursday for me, And I woke up on Friday morning without having to get the alarm clock at 5 a.m. And I just laid in bed, so grateful for the decisions that I made. And it was not because I'm special. Here's what I want to tell you. I am not special. I'm just like you, and you can do exactly what I've done. Now, over time, we've been able to build our passive income and create a better lifestyle. And there's times when things go up and down, but that's life, that's business. And you got to learn to fight through those things. But I'm telling you, you know what's scary? Is depending on a corporation for a paycheck every month, because at any point in time they can restructure, they can merge, they can sell, and your position could be cut out of nowhere. If their sales drop, they're going to cut people. And if you're, and a lot of times we do executive coaching, a lot of times they cut the executive salaries because there's so much money. So if you want to create financial freedom, use these 7 steps to become financially free so that you can do what you want. I literally, after this live, I'm either going to go for a run, I'm going to go mountain bike. I don't know what I'm actually going to do. Maybe go grab lunch with my wife. Like we don't have a time frame. That's the cool thing. And I want that for you. And that's why we created Master Life by Design. And then our podcast, Master Life by Design, Families for Financial Freedom on Spotify and Apple. We teach you how to do all this for free. I get some of the best people in the world, some of the most successful people to come in 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. In fact, I just did an interview 2 days ago that will be released on Monday. And it was a buddy that was a platinum partner at Tony Robbins, and he has a company called BuiltToExit.biz, and he sold his 26 companies. He's made 9 figures, just stupid money. But I had him talking about how to grow and scale a business, right? And it's not always what you think. And so, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. And so we have guests on there that are 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. I don't bring anyone on the show that's not a multimillionaire, period. And why? Because they've walked this path. And I want to be able to pull out those secrets from them to be able to share with you. And I'm going to end it with this. Money's great. Financial freedom's great. But I want you to know financial freedom's not the end goal. It's actually the starting point, because once you get money out of the way, you can do things that are more important, like impact work. You can spend more time with your family. You can spend more time with your church community. You can go help other people, right? You can go give your time, contribute your time to other things. So we want to get money out of the way. And I'm telling you, like real estate business, you can get into you can buy a company with zero money down. I had a buddy of mine when I spoke at a mastermind event 2 years ago in Costa Rica. I met a guy, he bought an $8 million business, zero money down, zero, not a penny out of his pocket. And I might actually have him come on the show and talk to you guys on the podcast on how he actually did that. Now, is that common? No. Is that a rare thing? Yes. Does it happen? Absolutely. You could get real estate, zero money down. My wife is actually working on some deals right now where we can take over a property with literally zero money to up to maybe like 10 grand max. Whereas you might have to put down over $100,000 to get into a property, 20% down on a property. And depending on where you live, it could be pricier. San Diego is a lot more than Alabama, right? As somewhere in Alabama. So anyway, if you have questions, I'm going to wrap up here. If you have questions, if you need anything, if you feel like, Joe, I'd love to work with you, or I want to be part of the mastermind, or check out the podcast, reach out, let me know. I'd love to support you, but I'm telling you, the best times of your life are yet to come. And when you don't have to worry about money anymore, that's when the real fun starts. That's when you could go make an impact on other people's lives. So I'd love to support you. I'd love to help you. If you have any questions, let me know, but reach out. You can check us out at masterlifebydesign.com. You can email me at joe@masterlifebydesign.com, Instagram at the Joe Moffett, TikTok, same thing. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys all on the next live, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. See ya.